Well, hello, boys and girls. It is time for Story Time with Troy. Hi, I'm Troy W. Hudson, and this week's story is Scuffy the Tugboat. Scuffy the Tugboat. And I'm joined by my friend, Kazoo. Hi, Kazoo. Are you ready for a story? Yeah, you are? Okay, Scuffy the Tugboat. Now, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty. Normally, we have a camera looking down at the book so I can open the pages and read it to you, but sometimes things break and don't work right, and that's what happened just before the broadcast. So, I'm going to read a page or two, and then I'm going to turn it around and let you see the pictures, because the pictures are awesome. This is the story of Scuffy the Tugboat. It's a little golden book. The official title of the book is Scuffy the Tugboat and His Adventures Down the River. There he is. Yep, Scuffy. And he's going down the river. That's in focus right there. Okay. And the story is by Gertrude Crampton, and the pictures were done by someone named Tibor Gergely. And this book is copyrighted and written in 1946, a very long time ago. The story is excellent. And here's the story. Scuffy was sad. Scuffy was cross. Scuffy sniffed his blue smokestack. "A toy store is no place for a red-painted tugboat," said Scuffy, and he sniffed his blue smokestack again. "I was meant for bigger things." And there he is in the store, right there in the toy store, with all the other toys, and well, I think it's safe to say he's not happy, so he's going to head out. "Perhaps you would not be cross if you went sailing," said the man with the polka dot tie, who owned the shop. So one night he took Scuffy home to his little boy. He filled the bathtub with water. "Sail, little tugboat," said the little boy. "I won't sail in a bathtub," said Scuffy. Tugboat's got attitude. "A tub is no place for a red-painted tugboat. I was meant for bigger things." The next day, the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy carried Scuffy to a laughing brook that started high in the hills. "Sail, little tugboat," said the man with the polka dot tie. And there you can see Scuffy in the bathtub, and there's Scuffy going down the laughing brook. The man with the polka dot tie and his little boy. So, Scuffy's going on an adventure. Where could Scuffy be going? Well, it was spring, and the brook was full to the brim with its water, and the water moved in a hurry. And as all things move in a hurry when it's spring, Scuffy was in a hurry too. "Come back, little tugboat, come back," cried the little boy as the hurrying brimful brook carried Scuffy downstream. "Not I," tooted Scuffy, "not I. This is the life for me." Scuffy, Scuffy, Scuffy. And there's Scuffy working his way down the river. You see that? Yep. All that day, Scuffy sailed along with the brook, past the meadows filled with cowslips, past the women washing clothes on the bank, past the little woods filled with violets. Cows came to the brook to drink. They stood in the cool water, and it was fun to sail around between their legs and bump softly into their noses. "Move!" That's what a cow might say. It was fun to see them drink, but when a white and brown cow almost drank Scuffy instead of the brook's cool water, Scuffy was frightened. Well, that was not fun. And there's Scuffy going down the brook. And you see him? Yep. Going down the brook, and there are the cows, and there's that cow that got a little too close. Yep. Got to be careful. Those thirsty cows can be dangerous. Night came, and with it the moon. There was nothing to see but the quiet trees. Suddenly an owl called out, "Hoot! Hoot!" Scuffy answered back, "Toot! Toot!" cried the frightened tugboat, and he wished he could see the smiling face of the man with the polka dot tie. There he goes. There's the moon and the owl, and there's Scuffy. And there's a fish right by him. Can you see that? The fish? Well, he survived the night. When morning came, Scuffy was cross instead of frightened. That means angry. "I was meant for bigger things, but which way am I to go?" he said. But there was only one way to go, and that was with the running water where the two brooks met to form a small river. And with the river sailed Scuffy, the red-painted tugboat. There he is, heading down the river, right there. Right there. And there's a rabbit watching him go. Wonder what he's thinking. He was proud when he sailed past villages. "People build villages at the edge of my river," said Scuffy, his river. And he straightened his blue smokestack. Once Scuffy's river joined a small one. I'm not sure if this is a typo or I just can't read this sentence. Once Scuffy's river joined a small one jammed with logs. A smaller river. Once Scuffy's river joined a smaller one jammed with logs. Here were men in heavy jackets and great boots walking about on the floating logs, trying to pry them free. "Toot, toot, let me through!" demanded Scuffy. But the men paid no attention to him. They pushed the logs apart so they would drift with the river to the sawmill in the town. Scuffy bumped along with the jostling logs. "Ouch! Oh, ouch!" he cried, as two logs bumped together and into him. So, there he is on the river. And those lumberjacks, they don't really care about Scuffy. Nope, they don't care. "This is a fine river," said Scuffy, "but it's very busy and very big for me." He was proud when he sailed under the bridges. "My river is so wide and so deep that people must build bridges to cross it." The river moved through big towns now instead of villages. And the bridges over it were very wide, so wide that many cars and trucks and streetcars could cross all at once. Those big bridges. He's going under there thinking he's a big tugboat like the other boats. The river got deeper and deeper. Scuffy didn't have to tuck up his bottom. The river moved faster and faster. "I feel like a train instead of a tugboat," said Scuffy as he was hurried along. He was proud when he passed the old sawmill with its water wheel. But high in the hills and mountains the winter snow melted. Water filled the brooks and rushed from there into the small rivers. Faster and faster it flowed to the great river where Scuffy sailed. "There's too much water in this river," said Scuffy, as he pitched and tossed on the waves. "Soon it will splash over the top, and what a flood there will be." Soon great armies of men came to save the fields and towns from the rushing, flooding water. That looks dangerous, doesn't it? Look at all that water, and Scuffy's in the middle of it. Right there. Yep. Scuffy is right there in the middle of it. Kind of scary. They filled bags with sand and put them at the edge of the river. "They're making higher banks for the river," shouted Scuffy, "to hold the water back." The water rose higher and higher. The men built the sandbags higher and higher. Higher went the river, higher went the sandbags. At last the water rose no more. The floodwater rushed onto the sea, and Scuffy raced along with the flood. The people in the fields and the towns were safe. But it was pretty scary going there for a while, wasn't it? I believe that's a pig, and I think that's a... what is that? Can't quite tell what that is. Some little critter, but there's a cat in a tree there, if you can see that. Right up there. On went the river to the sea. At last, Scuffy sailed into a big city. Here, the river widened, and all about were docks and wharves. Oh, it was a busy place and a noisy place. The cranes groaned as they swung the cargoes into the great ships. The porters shouted as they carried suitcases and boxes on board. Horses stamped and truck motors roared. Streetcars clanged and people shouted. Scuffy said, "Toot, toot!" But nobody noticed. Yep, life in the big city, Scuffy. What do you think? Not all it's cracked up to be, huh? "Oh, oh," cried Scuffy when he saw the sea. "There's no beginning and there's no end to the sea. I wish I could find the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy." I think he's getting homesick. Just as the little red painted tugboat sailed past the last piece of land, a hand reached out and picked him up. And there was the man with the polka dot tie with his little boy beside him. You can't see the man with the polka dot tie or the little boy, but there's Scuffy, getting ready to go out to sea. Not something he wants, but thank goodness they rescued him. Scuffy's home now with the man with the polka dot tie and his little boy. He sails from one end of the bathtub to the other. "This is the place for a red-painted tugboat," said Scuffy. "And this is the life for me." And there's Scuffy being rescued by the man with the polka dot tie and the little boy. And that, thankfully, was a happy ending. And that's the story of Scuffy the Tugboat. Thanks for joining me, boys and girls. See you again next week with Storytime with Troy. Another fun story. Hopefully I'll get that camera fixed, so I won't have to do that. I'll get it fixed for you. Yeah. Bye. God bless.